Welcome to Beer, Bourbon, and Games. I am your host, Chris, and today on the channel we have another interview for you. I am actually here on location right now at Raney Cellars Brewing Company. We're going to go in here, we're going to talk to Sean, the head brewer and owner of Raney Cellars. We're going to pick his brain, we're going to learn his process and everything else. Hopefully you guys will crack open a beer, kick back and relax. If you're new to the channel, think about hitting that like button, the subscribe button. But without further ado, let's head inside. Well, first, I just want to thank you for sitting down here with me. I know that you're busy. I know that COVID has everyone kind of just doing the best they can right now.
Yep.
So I do appreciate you taking the time out of your day. We're just going to start. Super easy one. Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been in the brewery industry for like 8 years now professionally. So I was with the Mad Chef guys for like 5 years, and before that I was out in Colorado working in a brewery. I got like an internship out there, so I got kind of lucky that I got in with a good brewery that, you know, taught me the right ways to do things and stuff like that. So once we moved back here, we were at Mad Chef and kind of worked my way up there and was head brewer there for a while, and finally got time for Sarah and I to like branch off and do our own thing, which we've been planning on doing for, you know, a long time. So it was finally the time to like do that.
You picked a great time to do
Yeah, for sure. And Lancaster's like home. Sarah grew up here, so this is like our home now, and it was nice to be able to like establish a place, you know, being local. So
Where were you interning in Colorado?
that was Bonfire Brewing.
Okay.
Yeah. So I moved out there with like everything that I had when I was like 23 or something like that, just like trying to get in. It was like a lot harder to get into the brewery industry then. You know what I mean? Like jobs were tight, so usually I had to do like an internship and work for free for a bit, which I did. But I got lots of free beer for it, so it's fine.
That
you know
works.
what I mean? Yeah.
You said you went out there basically when you're 23. When did you decide you wanted to get into the brewing industry?
I like after college, I was living in Austin. Like Sarah and I had just started dating, and her brother lived down there. He was going to UT for his like doctorate. But I lived with like a group of guys there, and we started homebrewing. I had like started homebrewing with my brother back when I like lived up here in Maryland. So we were just kind of doing that for fun and drinking all the beers way too fast because it was like a house full of college guys. But yeah, I don't know, just like I was cooking, I was a chef at the time.
Okay.
So that industry is like super rough, and I just got kind of burnt out doing that and knew that I wanted to brew beer, so decided to give it a shot. And like I said, I just like picked up my shit and moved to Colorado, so to try to get a job. And it worked out, so.
And you found out you're pretty damn good at it.
Yeah. Like I said, I was happy that I like got on with like a group of people that were like good, you know what I mean? And I like learned the right ways and stuff like that. So I was like super appreciative of that.
Did you ever, when you were doing home brewing, did you ever enter any contests?
No.
Just drank it?
Yeah, for sure. It was just like have some beer at home, you know what I mean? Yeah, I didn't enter any contests. Probably should have. I don't even think I brewed that many batches of like homebrew, honestly. I probably homebrewed like under 15 or 20 times before I like got a job in the industry. And now people are like, do you homebrew now? I'm like, no. Now that you like do it for a job, you do not want to like go home and homebrew.
28. I think I'm good at this.
Yeah.
Can you tell the viewers at home a little bit about your brewing system? What size do you have? What do you use?
We have a 7-barrel stouts brew system. I have 5-barrel stout fermenters, and that's just kind of give me the opportunity to brew larger volumes that I can potentially split between like smaller fermenters. But 7-barrel for like where we're at in the industry, like we don't want to do like a ton of like distribution or anything. We like just want to like focus on the local market and also just have like a cool little tap room where people can come hang out like locally. So that's how the system works out for us, especially we're doing like a lot of the barrel aging stuff here, which kind of helps supplement some of our volume and stuff like that. Kind of and gives us a little bit more creative freedom to do some like cool oak age stuff. You know what I mean?
It keeps the taps fresh.
Yeah. I want things to turn over extremely quickly.
Yeah,
I don't want to have the same 6 beers on the board. Like, it's nice when people like have that to expect to come in. They like those flagships, you know what I mean? And we've had a couple beers that have like kind of turned into that. Like Cole's from day one was going to be our beer. That was the beer we were going to have all the time. And now like #Team West Coast has been like a really popular one, you know what I mean? So now it's like, that's an IPA that people expect to see on the board. But other than that, we just like to like constantly keep having something new come out. It just keeps me interested too, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you've got, one of the big ones is the Dankity Doodah.
Dankity Doodah, yeah, that's like a series of double New England IPAs that we do. Just like keep that going. I don't want to like get stuck in the same one. You know what I mean? It's nice to be able to like try out different hop combinations until you find something that like you're really, really happy
I'm assuming every one of them is just a different hop combination.
Everyone had, yeah, and slightly different variations on grain. For the most part, it's like, New England's are pretty simple. It's like base malt and wheat and oats. So it's like a different combination of those, kind of try things out, and different things with like water chemistry as well for kind of mouthfeel and things like that.
The one thing I like here is you always have something I like to consider semi-experimental. Like you had the basil smash.
Yeah.
You have those like refreshing sours. Your sours are great. I really love those. And I'm not typically a super huge sour fan, but all of yours have been really, really good without being that like super lactosey or anything like that.
Yeah, no lactose in our sours, yeah.
Yeah, you guys just, every style is really nice and unique, and I really like how you brew, and I'm glad that this is always on.
Yeah.
It's refreshing to see a flagship Kolsch. So if you do like Kolsch's or like the old German style beers, definitely come here. This beer is absolutely phenomenal.
It's going to be here all the time, and it's just a crusher, and yeah, it's a beer that I like drinking all day, every day. So
it drinks way too easy. No matter what you're doing, you're on the lawnmower, you're out in the front porch, whatever, this beer is good. Or football. It's week 17, so.
Yeah, that's kind of fun, because like when Sarah and I finally moved back here, her cousin married a guy from Germany, so they live over like right outside of Cologne, Dusseldorf.
Oh. Okay.
So we've gone over there and visited them and like been to Cologne and like been to the Kolsch bars, and it was like, that was just really cool. And it's like a fun style of beer that I've always liked. So that was one that we, everybody has like their light lager or whatever that's like their flagship. And it's like, I made a light lager for like a lot of years at Mad Chef, and I was like, I want to do something different, like focus on a Kolsch. So
that is a damn good light lager, though.
Yeah, Johnny. Yep.
I love John Doe. You kind of touched on this one a little bit, but when did you decide that it was the right time to open the brewery? Did you run into any snags when you were opening?
Honestly, I felt like we were in a really good place for starting a brewery. Just doing it for so long and like being a head brewer at a place really helped. At least like give me the chance to experiment with what I'm doing and kind of focus in on like the type of beers that I want to make, and like that trial and error, I was able to like play around there for a long time, and just got to the point where I was comfortable. I knew I could like put out a really good product and give people what they want. You know what I mean? And it was always in the cards for Sarah and I. So it was just after a couple of years at Mad Chef, it's like we're getting pretty close to running a business here. Minus like we're not running the kitchen, but we're doing all the brewery stuff. So and that's what we wanted to focus on here. So we knew it was like time to jump ship and do that. So
and Millersville was always kind of the goal.
Yeah, Millersville was like really great. Like the local borough here, they were like since day one like really wanted us here. So it was like what do you guys need to get a brewery open? And that was like really nice to have that like support behind us. You know what I mean? Because we looked for real estate like in a lot of areas, and it's kind of tough because like some places are have a lot more small business and there's not as much room for like growth. So we were happy that like when we met the people at Millersville that they were so excited to like have us here in town. So that made the whole process a lot easier. As far as having any snags, it was honestly a pretty like smooth process. We bought this building I think in January, and we were able to open the brewery by September. And so it was a pretty quick turnaround, honestly. Yeah, it probably could have been even faster, but just some of the construction stuff, you have like hang-ups here and there, but it was a pretty like quick like 9-month turnaround. You know what I mean? Get the building ready, get the brewery equipment in here, and get licensing and stuff like that.
This was a pizza shop before. Correct?
It was, yeah. It's a pizza restaurant. We're not currently doing food ourselves. We like do food trucks and have like outdoor seating out on the deck and stuff for people, and people can bring their own food, which is cool. That's like a thing Sarah and I always liked, like at breweries around the country. You know what I mean? Like the chill vibe doesn't necessarily have to like more like coffee shop vibe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, I like that you can like bring your own stuff in, and yeah, it just makes it like relaxed and easy for everybody. I feel like
one of the cool things about the building, there's a cellar here too, which kind of has the name to play on it. So can you talk a little bit about that and what you're doing with that area?
Yeah, so it's funny when we like came to check out the building with our realtor and walked in, and it's like this nice like done pizza shop. You know what I mean? It had like just had renovations the year before, so we were like happy about how the building was, the shape that it was in. Like we knew that we just didn't have to do much like cosmetically. But then we took a look downstairs, and they have this like old like 100-year-old stone basement that's like really cool, and we knew that we knew that we wanted to do a lot of barrel aging. But once we saw that spot, and we knew the space that we had available, and it was like in an area where that's like really cool to have like a stone basement and to have your beer underground, and if you're able to pull that off and like dehumidify, like climatize the area and stuff like that, which we have like an industrial dehumidifier down there to like temperature control the area a little bit better. But yeah, the cellar's awesome, and we've like just begun to like put beer down there, so we can fit a ton of like oak age stuff down there. And it's like we're only like tip of the iceberg right now. It's kind of taking us, you know, with coronavirus, it's been tough too to like get a lot of projects going, but
because you don't know what's happening from one day to the next.
Yeah, for sure. And you're like watching your budget, and you know you're not doing like a lot of like expensive projects right off the bat and stuff like that. But yeah, it's been a little bit different, but we're definitely getting moving on all of our barrel aged stuff, which I'm really excited about. We're hoping to have some releases and stuff this spring, like coming up. So
awesome, good to hear.
Yeah.
It does also help with this location. You're real close to the campus, which doesn't hurt. As you've already alluded to, there's some thirsty college kids out there in the world. So this is a good little area that you picked.
Yeah, for sure. The ones that want to spend the money on not crappy light beer. Yep.
That's true.
Yeah, for sure.
So you named it Raney Cellars. I'm assuming you found the cellar before you picked the name?
Yeah, we that was the thing that we like weren't 100% sure on. Like we knew we wanted to start a brewery, and we knew kind of like what our brand was going to be, but we didn't really have a name. So once we saw the cellar, it was like I feel like it was pretty easy.
It's not. It would have been like Raney Pizza Shop.
Who knows? Yeah, Raney Pizza Shop. Yep. Yeah, man. But no, it just kind of like happened naturally. I feel like we were throwing some names out there, and that was one that stuck. So
well, I think it works out really well.
Yeah, and I like the name a lot, and the brand. Like we've had a lot of people who are really happy with like how clean the brand looks and stuff, and we're. Like we had a friend who made the logo and stuff for us, and I thought it turned out killer. So
I think it worked out well. We've got a cool looking sign now. We're starting to brand it a little bit more.
Yep.
You want to give a shout out to the artist?
Yeah, Andrew Kasi, he did that project for us. He actually has like a little business where he does more projects. You can find him on Facebook. I think it's like Scozy Knife Works. But it turned out fantastic. Like so much better than I imagined it could have been. So that's really cool.
Yeah, super. It's a really nice eye-catching piece for the room. Good talking point. Nice clean brand. So yeah, I really like how that turned out.
Thanks, man.
But it's really coming along.
Always trying to add to the decor. You know what I mean?
We've got a Raney Cellar clock. We've got a buffalo on one side.
Yeah, we kind of took stuff like, I don't know, my wife and I are like pretty like minimalist people. So it's like, you know, when we started the business, we were like, like artwork and stuff will kind of like come along, you know what I mean? Like we want the space to evolve like with our customers too. Yeah. So we have some elements from like the mountains and Texas, like where I grew up. So, you know, kind of stick to that thing a little bit. Like we've traveled and lived a lot of places. So we kind of wanted to like bring those experiences into the tap room, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I like every little tap room's kind of got its own little story, which is cool.
And it's only going to evolve too. That's the nice thing. It's like, it's early, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're going to be here for a while.
This is what, year 2? Or you just turned one?
We just had our like 1 year anniversary in September, so.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, and a weird first year, but, you know.
Hey, it is what it is.
Make do, you know what I mean? Just take what you can get.
You got through it, and you got to see what it was kind of like through hardships. So if you're able to get through that, hopefully it's smooth sailing from there. I don't know if we're going to ever sit through another one of those coronavirus type things. Hopefully not.
Hopefully not, yeah.
I never thought I would live through one, but here we are.
Yeah. It's definitely going to be one of the weirder times like in our life for sure, it seems like.
What is the plan for Raney Cellars moving forward? Obviously this is kind of your destination. You said you're not looking to distribute wide. Are you ever looking at canning it all for like local places around here?
I think in the cards right now we're probably, I did a lot of canning at Bonfire when I was there for like years, and I'm not sure, people love packaged beer, like don't get me wrong, that's like where the industry's going right now, like distribution, a lot of people want to be in distribution. We kind of wanted to focus just a little bit more on like being like a community center, and like we're doing a big deck expansion this winter, so we're really like hoping more to just kind of be that local tap room where people will like come have a pint and like hang out. Like I talked about, we're gonna definitely do some bottle releases and stuff with some of our like sour aged stuff and our barrel aged stuff. Canning's not out of the question. Like it's like we can do it if we decide to, but I think as of right now, probably for the next like year or so, like probably not thinking about doing too much of that. But you never know. Like market changes, people have to make quick decisions. So I know that you can expect some like bottle stuff from us coming in the spring.
Awesome.
Yeah, which is exciting. I'm like really excited about being able to like get our like sour bottle program and like barrel aged like program going. So that's something we've been trying to focus on, and it's just been kind of a slow roll this year.
Not a worry. Once it comes out, I know it'll be a hit.
Yeah, we were able to do some of that stuff on draft. Like you had like the gin basil smash, which is really cool, and the prickly pear, which I was really happy about. I wish I could have done that in bottles and stuff like that. So that was like a little taste for people, you know, like over the holidays to have those draft beers to try out. So it's definitely like a preview of what we're going to do in the future.
And it also sucks, like canning lines take up a lot of space.
Yeah.
And they're very expensive.
Yeah, for sure.
They're not cheap. I mean, you can get a cheaper one, but it's going to be slower. And I mean, where do you really put it in this place? So, and mobile canning, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot. So.
Yeah. Mobile canning is definitely an option. You know, it cuts into your margins a little bit.
Yeah.
It's definitely expensive, but I mean, it's doable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not super what we're interested in right now, but like I said, that could change. You know what I mean? Lots of people right now are like have evolving business models and stuff like that. Nothing's out of the question. You know what I mean?
I have definitely seen that. A lot of people have survived just by getting their beer out there in different means than they ever thought they were going to. I mean,
definitely.
Everyone thought their tap rooms were going to be open.
We're really thankful too. It's like with it being takeout only for a long period of time. Like we had the crowler machine, so like crowlers and growlers were like huge for us. So it's like we weren't canning per se, but you know the 32-ounce cans would go and stuff like that. People were like all about that. So we're glad that people like continue to support us through that and came in and bought a bunch of crowlers. You know what I mean? And then we're stocking their fridge, even though they couldn't have like a beer here. So we were really, really thankful for that. And yeah, it's just like weird year, keep trucking ahead, keep making beer, keep making like good beer that people like to drink, and people will come out and support you.
They'll come out, yeah. If you have good beer, they'll come out. I know I came out here a bunch. Crowlers are like my favorite thing. I used to love growlers, but as soon as the crowler came around, like that is a super nice way to introduce someone to beer. Like, take out a whole bunch of them over to someone, you get a couple beers out of it.
They're good to share. Like they're perfect thing to share, honestly.
Yeah, you get 2 beers out of it, or maybe a little bit more, and it's not a super huge investment. Like 32 ounces of something. If you don't like it, you can kind of split that. 64.
Yeah.
A little bit more of a crowler. When they became free reign and everyone could get those machines, that was a game changer, and I'm glad people were able to get those because that's awesome.
Yeah.
This one is going to be maybe a little bit deeper. What is your brewing philosophy, and how has it changed maybe from when you started to where you are now?
So I feel like when I first started professionally, it's tough to like know exactly what you're working with until you've like been in the industry for a little while. So you're learning the processes and you're learning how to make beer. I think when you first start out, you don't necessarily know if you're making really good beer or not. You know what I mean? Until you like have had other people's stuff and you know like the standards that you're looking for and like the nuances and the like small things that a lot of people don't notice. But once you have like a pretty good idea of like your standard, you know, like your personal standard and like quality of beer, that like really helps. Like I said, I was really lucky because I feel like I came from a place that was like really about quality. Like they weren't afraid to dump beers down the drain if they weren't where they needed to be. You know what I mean? If they weren't like perfect, they'd get rid of them. And so like from very early on, that was like instilled in me. Like dump money down the drain if you need to in order to put out a product that's going to be better. You know what I mean? So I feel like from day one, you know, like there at Mad Chef and then like with opening my own place, it's like we just kind of strive towards having like a really high quality product that doesn't have any off flavors or anything messed up with it. And if there's anything inferior in the beer, we're not afraid to like dump it down the drain and start over. Like that's just something for me that like has always made sense. And I've never, you know, tried to save a beer, you know, if it doesn't taste quite right, just to like put it out there. I just think that your reputation is like more important than that, and all it takes is like one bad beer to like, you know what I mean? It's your brand, and it's tough to like rebuild that brand if you're putting out garbage. And so we just try really hard to like put out, you know, high quality beer with like no off flavors and stuff like that. So focus a lot on water chemistry and like our cleaning processes. And yeah, I mean, I learned from some good people, so it's just like maintaining that, you know what I mean, and maintaining standards. I think that's the most important thing. Like putting out like quality, clean product is, I think, the most important thing. And more than marketing or anything else, like if you're putting out good beer, people are going to come support you.
I mean, it makes sense because you might lose some money down the drain, yes. But if someone comes here and they have a bad beer, maybe it's green, maybe there's something off, they're going to tell their friends, and it could damage things way more than just that money you're going to get out of it. Because an analogy I like to use a lot is when you have issues with your electric company, do you call them and you complain. Do you ever call them when it's good? No.
Yeah.
You only call when something's bad. So if you go somewhere and something sucks, that's going to stick in your head.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, you talk about putting out good beer. I mean, look at that. It's completely clear.
Yeah.
There's no imperfections. There's no impurities. You're not hiding anything in this beer. This is exactly what you want to see. I mean, New England IPAs, I'm not saying that, anyone's hiding anything, but you can.
Yeah, it's a little bit easier to.
It's hazy. You can hide anything, but with this good clean Kolsch that you've sat on your flagship, like that's amazing beer to rest your
head on. There's not much to hide behind this beer, for sure.
Just delicious flavor.
But yeah, it's like with anything. I don't know. You just want to put out the best thing you can for people. I think that's really important. Whatever product you're selling to somebody, it's like that should just be your most important thing.
If not, you're not going to make it well. You're not going to be there.
Yeah, and I've like known people from other businesses who take like different approaches and stuff like that. And it's just kind of always stuck with me to focus on putting out the best beer as possible. So that's what we try to focus on doing here.
Good. What beer or craft beer really got you interested in the craft beer industry? What was your like gateway beer?
I mean, honestly, when I lived with my brother, like right out of college, he was probably like had Sierra Nevada and stuff in the fridge. You know what I mean? And like these hoppy beers were like popping out. It just kind of like gave you another layer of something compared to all this light beer that you're drinking in college. And you learn how to drink. So yeah, it was definitely like hoppy, like West Coast IPAs and stuff that like popped out to. And that's still like, with everybody making New Englands these days and everything, it's like you said, there's a lot of really good ones out there, but there's just a lot in the market. Like the market's flooded with it right now. So here we've been like focusing on making a lot of West Coast IPAs as well as New Englands. Mm-hmm. So that's like, I really like West Coast IPAs. I like dry, like clean, hoppy beer, and so those are beers that are really fun for me to make. Like I'm passionate about them. So we're trying to like do different styles here, and like always have a sour, always have a dark beer, always have some West Coast hoppy thing. Of course, always have like a New England. You know what I mean?
You have a brown ale too, right now, don't you?
Yeah, Blue Rock Brown Ale. Yeah, we've kind of rotated through like some dark beers through the first like year and a half that we've been open. People like to have something that's on, and I like a real nice like sessionable like porter or brown ale. We had like an award-winning brown ale over at Mad Chef, so it's like I really like those styles of beer, and I like for people to be able to have that option.
That's the Dynamite Brown over there.
Dynamite, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, we won a silver medal for that at World Beer Cup, so that was like pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
That one's really, really good.
Thanks, man.
I do also like the American West Coast style. You've got that malty flavor, the hops. It's incredible how much your palate will adapt, because I remember the first time I ever had Dirt Wolf. I'm like, wow, that is hoppy, that is gritty.
Bitter, yeah.
Like Land Shark was too hoppy for me. But now, like, it's like nothing.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
People's palates are definitely like changing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's more and more people who like, I feel like for a long time people were like, oh, gross, I don't like IPAs, I don't like sours, but now more and more people are trying, like, with New England IPAs too, I feel like that was something to introduce people into IPAs who don't normally drink hoppy beers, because they're not perceived as being like bitter and hoppy. So that's like opened up a lot of doors for people. I think the same thing with sours. Like a lot of people are like, tart, I don't want something like that. But then they have like a nice, like well-balanced, like some of our sour beers are super freaking sour. And then some of them are a little bit more approachable, where you have some fruit to kind of balance it out or something like that.
Yeah.
And I've had plenty of people come in here and they're like, I hate sours, and they try it and they're like, oh, that's not bad. And I'm like, yeah, you just gotta find one that you like. You know what I mean?
It's that negative connotation that everyone thinks that it's the same. Like you hear IPA and you just immediately write it off. I know my in-laws, Miller Lite Coors Light is basically
that's
epitome.
That's Sarah's dad too. Yeah.
So I brought over some proper pills from Robbie last night, and they're like, "Oh, that's not that bad."
Oh, it's like it is light, but it's got some hops to it.
Yeah, it's crazy how people will just concede. Like, not every IPA is the same. There's hundreds of different hop combinations out there. So just getting people to try things.
It's like Sarah's mom. Like I think Coors Light is probably the only beer she like could drink or was interested in drinking. And now we have her like drinking sours and stuff like that. It's just because like she'd never been introduced to it, and now that we've like given her some of these beers, she like knows what to expect and she likes them. So that's kind of cool. You know what I mean? It's like new beer lovers. Yeah,
it's nice. Fun. It's fun, definitely. This one is hypothetical for you. If you could collab with any brewer or brewery in the industry, who would it be?
Ooh, I would probably have to go to one of those like Belgian, like Cantillon or somebody, you know what I mean, to like go there and like see what they do. Like I have an idea of the process that they do, but to go and like do something with one of those like Belgian breweries that's doing,
there's triples and...
or like the Lambics more, like
okay.
So some of those breweries, they're doing like those Flanders and some like the true Lambics and stuff. Those processes are pretty cool, and not a whole lot of people can pull those off. And they've been doing stuff like a certain way that honestly the industry has passed that by. But the way that they do it is so cool and like works for them that now some people in the industry are like kind of turning around and like looking at what they do and trying to recreate that. I've been trying to do the same thing. So those beers are really cool. That stuff gets me excited. Only because it's like you can control pretty much every element like of a beer as closely as you can. But with barrel aged stuff, it's like you're just kind of managing the chaos. You know what I mean? You're throwing it into like an open vessel that is exposed to oxygen and other bacteria. But to be able to like contain that and like let it do its thing, and then have like a cool product come out, that's pretty fun for me.
COVID has unfortunately affected every single person this year. Brewery, small business, all that stuff. How has it affected you guys so far this year?
I think it's our biggest thing probably that it's affected us is just like projections for future years. It's our first year of business, so it's really kind of hard to see what our trend is going to be for customers coming through just because of how different things were this year. And for a while we were only takeout, and then for a while we were limited indoor. So I think that was one of the toughest challenges, is just kind of figuring out like what are we going to do in the next couple of years as far as like finding out what our financial predictions are and things like that. As far as making beer, we just kind of, after the like initial shutdown where we were doing takeout, we just kind of made the decision to just truck ahead, keep brewing beers, keep brewing different beers, keep stuff coming out. And honestly, it's just like, we did takeout for a while, we opened back up indoor with like socially distanced, everybody's wearing masks, following all the rules, and we felt like we were in a good place for a while doing that. So it's just kind of taking what they allow us to do and just making the best out of it. Nothing detrimental, honestly. It's like we just kind of kept our heads down and just like made it through the year and did what we could. And Sarah and I worked the bar a lot. Like, we fully own the place, so it's nice to just be able to talk to customers and like be here every day and have that like in touch with people and not just have like our bartenders be doing that. So that was nice. Like I actually liked the customer interaction that I was able to build over like the last like 9 months, 10 months with people. I felt like that was really important with like what was going on. But no, for the next couple of years, we're full steam ahead and like positive about everything. So, it's just one of those things where we're just trying to do our best to like keep people safe. Honestly, that's like it's tough to make decisions with what's going on, you know what I mean? But I feel like that's the most important thing, really. Like the business is going to be okay, and we just try to like put people first, and that's really what my wife and I think is the most important. So
good. Yeah. I think
we're just trying our best like everybody else, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I understand, people have to do what they have to do to like take care of their family and their business, and so people are making decisions that they have to make, and I respect that. So
it's tough. I know anybody that is doing certain things is just doing it because they think it's what's best for them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
definitely.
No one really wants to disobey, but I mean, sometimes you just kind of have to, depending on situations. So, yeah, you guys have always been following the rules as best you can. I know the one time I came here and I sat out on the deck, and I think it was like 30 degrees outside.
Yeah, and that sucks to make people do that. Like, but I'm glad that we still have people like you who come in and decide to just support us, even though they have to sit out on the deck and drink a beer at 33 degrees. But that's like, we're so happy to have people like that, because that's what keeps it going. You know what I mean?
I was glad that there were already 2 other people out there, because when I was driving in here, I'm like, am I going to be that weird, crazy person that asks, can I sit out on the deck? And no one else is there, but they were already there. So
Yeah.
like,
It was nicer yesterday. It was still probably like, I don't even know what temperature, 40 or 50 degrees outside, but the deck was full. So people want to be here and sitting out on the deck.
So I can only imagine once it's open again on Monday, what things are going to look like. Hopefully that is here to stay. Hopefully with the vaccines, we can kind of start moving.
Yeah, it sounds like we're going to go back to limited indoor, everybody wearing masks, everything being spread out, back to where we were. And yeah, we feel good about keeping people safe and it being like safe and spread out in here and a good environment for people to like come and hang out and drink.
And this place is always clean. It's always really nicely well maintained. It's not like it's a filthy place or dirty.
We want people to be able to like leave home and come in here and feel comfortable having a beer. You know what I mean? Like trying to wipe down doors and railings and stuff like that. And yeah, just try to. We've had people who come in and they're like, we like to come here because we know that you're like putting in the effort, which is nice to hear. Like that we like that people feel just as safe here as they do at their house. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like to support local, obviously, but also the people that are doing good stuff. I like to come out as much as I can to see you guys, and it is really cool that you and Sarah are working, just because there is that face, and it's kind of a little bit more of a connection to the business. You feel when it's there, and you've definitely built a lot of relationships, a lot of good clientele coming in here.
And we have some awesome bartenders. You know what I mean? It's just nice to like. It is nice to be here all the time and talk with people, and them coming here and expect to see your face. So that was nice that we got, months and months and months of that. I was really happy about that.
If someone does come in here and they're thinking about opening a brewery or starting to homebrew, what advice would you give them?
I would say my number one advice for somebody who wants to start a brewery is get a job in a brewery and see how much you like it. Because there is a misconception, I feel like, in the industry with like what the work is like. So it is like a physical job. Like I always joke that it's like a glorified janitor, you know what I mean? But if you're passionate about like the product that you're putting out, then that work is not that bad. But no, that's like my number one advice for anybody that ever wants to open a brewery is get a job as a brewer and work as a brewer and get in the grind, you know what I mean? And potentially do something with a brewery, like work for a brewery that's not going to do what you particularly want to do, because then that gives you like the insight into the other side of like the industry. Because you can start a brewery and have a bunch of different plans, you know what I mean, on like how you're going to approach it, how you're going to sell your product, you know what I mean, what you want to put out there. So yeah, get a job at a brewery and sling some beers and squeegee some floors and
For sure, yeah, and don't be afraid to start at the bottom. Keg wash.
Yeah,
and
don't be afraid to ask questions. I feel like one of the most important things is like if you don't know, like ask somebody who does, because like I feel like that gains you a lot of respect. You're trying to make a better product. That's like the most important thing. Honestly, it's like you're putting out a product for people to drink. So if you're constantly trying to improve, and I like that. You know what I mean?
Have you ever considered doing any like internships or anything for like someone that wants to just kind of?
I actually know a guy who worked at Bonfire. We got him from Appalachian State, and they have like a fermentation science program. So he came on with us and was like kind of our like lab tech brewer guy, and they actually still have the program in place, and they do interns all the time. So I've actually thought about like getting in touch with the guy from that program, because they do like summer internships.
Okay.
But yeah, I'd always be open to having somebody come intern for sure. It's always finding somebody who's just really passionate about doing it. You know what I mean? So as long as you have somebody who comes in who really wants to do the job, then I'm interested in teaching them. You know what I mean?
They don't mind getting up at 3 in the morning to start a brew.
Yeah, we don't have to start that early, but yeah, sometimes it's the same work over and over, and it can be backbreaking. So as long as you're like fine with physical labor, you're fine.
What are your favorite hops to brew with?
Ooh.
I'm gonna guess it's probably a West Coasty one, since you like.
Right now, #Team West Coast I love. That's like Citra and Centennial. Really like playing around with Centennial. It's got some like fun, like dank citrus notes that I've been like pairing up with some other hops. And it's kind of an older school hop that, people still use, but now people are like chasing new varieties and stuff like that. Citrus is always one that I really like to use in beers. With the Colson stuff though, like I like finding fun new ways to use like noble hops. Like I made a New England IPA where we like just dry hopped it with like these like German varieties, like Hallertau and stuff like that, and just like see what it turns into. So But yeah, I do a lot of stuff with like Citra and Centennial, I feel like.
Okay. I do like the classic C's, like the
Cascade. And,
Yeah, those are really fun.
Yeah, I'd say Cascade isn't one of my favorites though.
Really?
Yeah, like I've done a lot of stuff with that, but I've like shied away from it a little bit. I don't know, just my particular like palate, which doesn't have anything to do with anybody else. But
whole balance. I like, Cascade, Chinook.
Yeah, Chinook's another really good one.
Very good one. This is the last one for you. Is there anything that you want to tell the people at home? Sell them on why they should come to Raney? Anything at all that you want to say to the people watching?
Yeah, if you're into really high quality beer and you are interested in like more experimental styles and stuff that you might not necessarily have seen, or things that you have seen somewhere else that not a lot of people do. Like we're hoping to have like all of our oak aged stuff and sours and some lambics and some dark beers that are aged in whiskey barrels and stuff like that. So I think it'll always be a place that somebody can come in and they're probably gonna have something new that they have not had on tap, and that's like what I like to see when I go somewhere. I want to walk in, the first thing I'm going to try is the thing I haven't had. You know what I mean? So I hope everybody like has a similar experience here. You know what I mean? And it's always just looking forward to like popping in and like trying a beer that they haven't had, and hopefully it's not finding something new that they didn't think they liked. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we just like to have people come in and educate them on beer as much as they want to be educated, and find something for people to drink. You know what I mean? I'm a big proponent too of like, I'll give you as many free samples as you want to help you find something that you like to drink. I don't want somebody to go home like not happy with their selection. You know what I mean? So that's a big thing for me.
I'd have to say that you guys do put out super quality products. I have not had a bad beer here yet.
Thanks, man.
I'm waiting for that day just so I can rub it in your face. But everything.
Better tell me. I have plenty of people who will tell me if I have something that's trash. So.
Yeah, your beer is absolutely incredible. I do like all the stuff that you come up with on your own. You do really good stuff. Awesome environment, really great place here. It's a great location, so I think you're going to have a lot of success once everything is lifted. Hopefully, fingers crossed. You have an expansion coming up, you said. There's always food trucks here for people to kind of have that chill vibe. So I'm hoping for a really successful second year for you guys, so we can move forward and try to figure out what you're going to actually, be and get into.
Yeah, deck expansion here this winter, so next spring, lots of food trucks, lots of outdoor seating, so that'll be something to look forward to.
Is it going to wrap around the building?
It is, yeah. It's like the deck's going to probably get extended about 10 feet towards the parking lot and about 20 or 30 feet this direction, and then we're putting a big roof over it as well, like over part of the deck. So we're definitely going all in on outdoor seating. We think that's one of our highlights of our building here, and people may want to sit out and look at the park and stuff like that. So yeah, like I said, it just kind of adds to, we want to have a cool community spot for people. We have tons of locals who come in here to support us, and they're in here all the time, and it's just nice, somebody who's down the street who's just wants to pop in for a beer and say what's up. So I feel like that's what we're all about.
They support you because their beer is awesome. If you made crappy beer, people wouldn't care. They would just be drinking Coors Light, no offense.
Appreciate it, dude.
Yeah, your stuff is incredible. This is incredible. Everything is good. So if you guys are in the area, definitely come and check out Raney. You're not going to leave disappointed. He'll give you all the samples he wants. He already said it. It's on camera. And then you can go ahead and grab a couple of pints, and I'm sure you're going to leave with crowlers. I have a few in my fridge right now. So cheers, man.
Yeah, looking forward to next year and getting out all this stuff. Yep.
I'm hoping.
Yep.
Fingers crossed.